Welcome to Willie's American Guitars Video Series 2019. Yeah, that's it. So, I probably talked about this before. This is a cool guitar that came in. This is a 1947 Martin. Back in the 30s and 40s, Martin used a wood that grew in the Adirondack area, which is a red spruce or Adirondack spruce. Red cedar, also called a yellow cedar or yellow spruce. And honestly, the more I see of it, that's a little more yellow than red. But those trees grow in that eastern region of the United States. It's worth noting that the main forest for Adirondack spruce used to be 1.5 million acres. It's down to 30,000 acres. In that eastern seaboard, with all the cities and population out there, a lot of the Adirondack spruce that they get right now is affected by acid rain and pollution. And so they'll cut down a tree. We as guitar players follow wood very closely. You guys probably know this, but on old pre-war guitars, they always used Adirondack because it was local. They did use Brazilian rosewood from Brazil, and they were used ebony from India and Africa. Now, all these woods came from all over, but Adirondack was chosen for piano soundboards. Adirondack is used in beer. Adirondack is used in gum. Adirondack is used in a lot of other things. As guitar players, we don't use up a ton of wood. As builders go through about 1 out of every 100 logs will qualify without any mineral streaking, will qualify as good enough. Lately, it's become harder and harder. Manufacturers will buy a log, and then once they start cutting it, they realize lately that there's a lot of pollution, acid rain, and it's affecting some of the grain lines, and it's just coming out inferior. Getting good Adirondack is getting harder and harder to find. An Adirondack tree will grow to 170 years old. That's probably the top end of it. They're smaller trees in general, and they've always been popular for their wood, and it makes a good sounding board. If you look at this guitar, or this is an OM28, this is a real 40s 00028, this is an OM28. The OM has a longer scale length. The OM, even though they're the same size, will have a wider fingerboard. The orchestra model, a 000 and an OM are the same size. It's the scale length and the width of the fingerboard that's different. But if you look at this guitar, you can see, and I'll shine it in the light here, that beautiful wide grain. And then we look at the old one too. Again, you have this beautiful wide grain. Now, those grain lines are going to add to a pronounced bass response. And then the light goes out. So then now we just finish the video without our accessory light. And we're back. All right, sorry, our light went out, but we're going to continue on with this little talk that we have now and then. You know, it's just us guys and girls hanging out, talking guitars. So this is an OM28 Authentic. The Authentic series from Martin is aged wood, aged braces, a finish that's exclusive to the Authentic series, and baked wood. By baked, people call it different things. Martin has their VTS, vintage tone system, which is basically baking the wood so it sounds like an old 40s guitar. It's quite effective. This guitar, by the way, the 47 00028 at $10,000, you couldn't make it for 10 grand with Brazilian rosewood. This is a gorgeous rosewood on the back of this too, and this is Madagascar rosewood on this guitar. Really pretty wood, book matched. You can see the same thing on either side, and it is an Adirondack top. More and more, it's getting hard to find Adirondack. More and more, you're getting mineral streaking. More and more, the companies are telling us that they can't get it. We ordered this Collings guitar, and this is a D2H traditional with a baked top. they quit taking orders for Adirondack, for baked Adirondack. So we're not getting any more than this until further notice. This is a beautiful Western shaded D2AH herringbone T traditional, which means hide glue. And hide glue makes a difference because if you dropped regular glue on the counter, it would go plop. If you drop hide glue on the counter, it'll go click. You get that click sound out of the guitar when they use hide glue. All old guitars were using hide glue. We can fix hide glue guitars. We know how to use hide glue. You have to boil a pot and get it to a certain temperature. This guitar just came in though with a baked Adirondack top, and we are told we can no longer order baked Adirondack until further notice. So there is kind of a shortage. What's the difference? Sitka spruce, which is much more common, grows in the western region. It comes from Alaska, Sitka, and comes down through the western area of Canada up until about northern California. And Sitka trees are much more mature. They'll grow to 300 years. Most of them are in that 200-year-old. So the ones that we use are about as old as our country. And Sitka spruce generally has a tighter grain. You'll still get a bass response out of Sitka, but you'll get a lot more high end. You have a tighter grain. Even with Sitka, you sometimes get the bear claw that you see on this. Sitka spruce is a great wood. All the Martins from the 50s and 60s, even today, are Sitka. We do get now options on Martin. Martin will offer us baked Adirondack with the wide grain or baked Sitka with the tight grain. This is a D28, an HD28. This is a fantastic guitar. These are so consistent in quality. We have to say Martin is just killing it lately with quality. We are so proud to be offering the upper end of the Martin stuff, and this is the stuff dreams are made of. There is some special guitars here. I wanted to talk a little bit about the difference between Sitka, tighter grained, generally speaking, and Adirondack, which has these big wide grains, which is like a yellow spruce. We're having trouble getting all woods. Rosewood is on the endangered species list, all rosewood. We have lived through the golden age. Mahogany is getting scarce. True Honduran mahogany is getting scarce. True Adirondack spruce is getting scarce. Did you know this? That during the Revolutionary War, the Daughters of the Revolution planted a forest somewhere in the Appalachians, and it's just now that they are looking through some old paperwork where they found where the forest was planted for the fallen soldiers of the Revolutionary War. Adirondack goes back to our history quite a bit, and it's something that we are cherishing now while we can still get it. These trees are endangered in many states, and you cannot cut them in many states, and the forests are dwindling on that. So we're proud to have it. And on that, I'm going to end this little video. Sorry about the light thing.